Hello everybody, welcome back to my movie review series. Kicking off the first day of July. Officially 2 months before I'm completely fucked because my constitutional rights are directly violated. So I'll do another movie review, probably do some music today. I need somebody to help me, man. I just need somebody to give me a time frame so I can manage my money. This has been the worst year of life, and it's funny because it's literally every subsequent year of my life is literally the worst year of my life because I just have more property out there and I still have never made one step forward on anything. So I thought, after reviewing close to, 175 writing scripts, maybe I could, be the cameraman behind a thing or the janitor and maybe work my way up in the movies or something. But there's just absolutely no opportunity in this world, and no matter what you work for, somebody else will just steal it from you. If you don't have a connection, someone in your family or a family friend just to give you a job, there is absolutely no potential for you to ever get employed. None, as I actively seek employment for anything. So you know how we do it. I'll give you my overall impressions and grade after reading the logistics. We'll be covering the plot, synopsis, and character development. So once I give the grade, there will be spoiler alerts if you want to watch the movie based or not based on the recommendation, and any similar movies or major themes. So it says Hostage was released in 2005. It is rated R. It is an action thriller. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 53 minutes. The setting is modern day to 2005 in California. You can watch it now. I watched it with my Showtime subscription that I didn't really want, but I forgot to cancel it. Or at least I thought I canceled it on the Hulu add-on, but it was just through the actual Showtime thing. So it says it's intense, gripping, and brutal. That's why I watch it from Google. It says you can watch it on Hulu, but I definitely watched it on Showtime just current as of right now. So it says, after one of his hostage negotiations go awry, LAPD officer Jeff Talley, played by Bruce Willis, quits the force and relocates his family to the suburbs. As a sheriff in a sleepy town, Jeff thinks he's escaped the hustle and bustle until an elaborate local heist puts him back in the center of a hostage situation. When his own family is pulled into the fray, Jeff is forced to decide whether he should try to help the hostages or follow the criminal's handoff mandate to protect his own family. Had a budget of 50 to 75 million. No box office numbers. And like I said, 80% liked it on Google, only 35% liked it on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, we'll round that up to 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb. So what did I think? I hadn't seen it before. I seen it pretty close when it came out. I remember watching this one in theaters with my cousin Matt Click, his mom, my aunt, and my brother. Pretty close to when it came out. We saw it in theaters, so it had been close to 2005, if not exactly in 2005. But overall, I thought it had a good tone. Again, like I said, the crime drama's pretty redundant. I thought this one had some novelty to it. Definitely when I watched it, I was a lot younger when I first watched it, so I thought it was the Mars character I thought was very just convincing as like a bad guy. Like I said, it's rated R. It's got some decent gore into it, nothing too extreme or anything. But I thought the characterizations were strong. Again, as I'm older, all the screaming is kind of off-putting. But I thought the overall tone and tension of this piece and the characterizations was well done. Plot, some novelty to it, not super well done. So overall, I'm going to give this upper end of entertaining and give it a B+. If I can get my marker open. Just right all over my hand. Nice. So upper end of entertaining. I thought the characterizations were strong. Some screaming. Plot moved along well. And I thought it had a good ominous, gripping tone to the protagonists or to the criminals. So overall, B+. If you've not seen it, I do recommend this one. Currently hosted on Showtime. Who knows where it'll be in a bit. So anyway, if you've not seen it and would like to, there's going to be spoiler alerts. Movie opens up, Jeff Talley, played by Bruce Willis. He's got a real big beard. He's a chief hostage negotiator. He's talking with this guy, a minor character. I think his name is Joe. But he's been, they've been negotiating for 16 hours. He's got his girlfriend and his either stepson or girlfriend's son in the house, and he's threatening to kill them. And so they're going back and forth. Jeff is trying to talk him down. They get a sniper shot on him in terms of like they have the line of fire. Jeff tells him not to take the shot. And he goes up there still trying to talk him down. And then basically they lose the shot and he's still saying he's going to kill everybody. They go up there, or Jeff goes up there, takes away his weapon, just trying to talk to the guy. Trying to get him to draw him back out to the window. And then you hear a bunch of gunshots go off. So, I don't know, a bunch, but 3 or 4. And so he goes in there all frantic, and the guy had killed the wife or the girlfriend himself. And then you see the kid who's also been mortally wounded, and he's bleeding out on the floor. And so Jeff is really shaken up about that. You get some other minor characters in the police force that were recognizable, but they, they're just kind of like bummed, or like, we should have taken the shot when we had it. And so we get a 1 year later flash forward, and Jeff is now working in the suburbs at some suburbs in California, I believe, because the opening scene was Los Angeles, so I'm assuming it's somewhere in California or Los Angeles itself. And so he's now, he has a daughter and a wife, Amanda the daughter and Jane the wife, I believe. But Jeff and Jane are kind of having a rough relationship. They're kind of like on the edge of getting divorced or whatever. Yeah, Amanda's the daughter. Looks like it's Bruce Willis's actual daughter. That's kind of interesting. But regardless, she's kind of upset that she's thinking that the parents are going to get divorced. So the kind of family dynamic is Jeff and Jane are kind of on the rocks. Amanda's, a teenager, and she's just not happy with the way the family dynamic is going. And so they take this job. He takes this job in the suburbs as just the chief of police. Again, not like Gary Lewis Jr., who absolutely under no circumstances do his job. Literally, to people watching, I've offered a local police chief that I know through his son personally $10 million just to do his job, and the answer is fuck off. And so that's the level of quality of law enforcement we have here in the United States of America. So obviously this is fiction, but in generality, law enforcement will under no circumstances actually enforce the law. But then you meet the main characters. Well, Jeff is obviously the main character, but Walter Smith, he has his he has a son and a daughter, or a young son who's probably, 5 or 6, 7, probably no more than 7. And then Jennifer, his daughter, who's probably, 15. And so they're driving home, they're gonna go get some pizza, they have a nice Escalade, and then you meet the main protagonists, a guy named Mars, and then Dennis Kelly, who's Kevin Kelly's older brother, and they're riding around in this old red pickup truck, and they stop to get some food at the gas station, and the Tallies are also, or the Smiths are also at the gas station, and so Dennis tells Kevin to go in there and get there's food or whatever, and he opens the glove box and sees a gun and is like, what's this for? And so some premonition about the weapons, goes in there, comes out, they see Jennifer Smith, and they kind of give the blowjob sign, and she kind of flicks him off and says, fuck you. And so from that, the Kellys and Mars, they follow them back to their house. They kind of like plot outside the house for a little bit, and Kevin is like, let's just go to the movies, guys. And they're like, we are going to go to the movies, but we're going to take Daddy's truck first. And so they go up there. The Smiths are home. You can see some scenes where it's like so they tell Kevin to stay in the car, and Dennis and Mars go in the house, and you can see them on the security cameras. The Smiths aren't seeing them on the security cameras, but you as the viewer can see that they're now getting into the garage. And they see a door, and so they go into the main part of the house, and then they take them at gunpoint. And so you have Mars and Dennis, they take them at gunpoint, and basically, like where is the keys to the truck? And so Tommy sees what's going on and presses the silent alarm button, and so a police officer is now getting dispatched. And so she was a minor character. I can't really recognize her. Black lady. I don't know if it was the Carol Flores or Laura Shoemaker, but one of those characters. The other one was the chief of the police, or like another big police officer. But regardless, she gets dispatched. Is going to investigate the silent alarm triggering. They get there. They're holding them all hostage in the living room, or in Walter's office. And before this scene, actually, you do see Walter. He's like encrypting some files onto a hard drive, or onto a CD. I mean, this is 2005. So he's encrypting some files into a CD or DVD, and he puts it on. It's in a movie called Heaven Can Wait. And so, police officer shows up. Walter's being held at gunpoint. The officer, is like, is everything all right? He's like trying to talk him down, trying to get them to go away. Kevin had left his post at the truck and has run in to see them taking hostages and is freaking out, like, what are we doing? He wasn't even down for stealing the car. Now we have, Mars has 2 pistols himself, and Dennis has his gun, and so Kevin's all freaking out, like, I'm in over my head. But regardless, the officer asked Walter to come outside, to prove safety or well-being or whatever. And Mars it's a big, nice house, and so it's like this metal gate, and Mars is standing right behind there with a gun. And once she asks him to come outside, Mars shoots her in the shoulder and then in the back, presumably pretty close through the heart. And so she's bleeding out bad. So now you have the main plot line. They're stuck in this house. They just shot and killed a cop. The cop's not dead yet, but she dies pretty quickly. And big police force are swarming onto the scene. So Jeff himself, Tally, the chief of police, said that he was going to go check on for backup for the other officer that just got shot. And now, big en route, all the police force is coming. And so Mars opened fires on Jeff immediately when she starts pulling up. Dennis is now freaking out because of what's happened, and he beats, he pistol whips Walter, and he's down bad. You're not sure if he's dead or bleeding out or has brain swelling or whatever. And then the little kids get Tommy and Jennifer get tied up. And so Jeff is able to back in a police cruiser, but backs in, is able to get the officer away from immediate danger, but she bleeds out by the time they get to any sort of safety. So now Mars has killed a police officer. They were in way over their head, and they're back in a hostage type of situation. And so once Jeff gets the killed female officer off of the immediate danger from where she was lying, he basically recuses himself from the case, and he's not the chief anymore. So he goes to a diner. He calls Amanda and Jane. They've been watching the drama on the news. And he goes back, gets out of the diner. He's going to swing by and talk to them. And then when he gets in his car, someone puts a gun to his back. And so he gets taken hostage by 3 or 4 dudes in masks with guns. And they drive him to this abandoned alley. And they handcuffed him to the steering wheel. They're like, look through your rear view window. Another van has backed up, and they open the doors, and Amanda and Jane have been taken hostage as well. So now I thought that was the novelty of the plot is, it's hostage, there's a hostage in the thing, and his family's hostage, and so I thought it was a good characterization, or at least novelty to some plot for a crime drama, which is a pretty trite or overused writing script for me. So that's why I really like this one, was just some novelty to that, I thought. But regardless, he is now tasked, he's given this white phone, and he's like, you're going to do what we tell you, your family's dead, and we need to recover these discs from the encryption DVDs as soon as we can. And so now Jeff can't say that stuff to the other police officers. He goes back on scene, asserts himself back into the authority of running the thing. Back in the house, Dennis finds a bunch of money, I think they say $4 million, as well as another gun, or I guess Tommy finds the gun. But Tommy is able to cut himself free. He is able to, it's a big house, so he's able to go in the crawl space where he's built a secret fort and kind of move around the house as well. So he kind of gets out of there pretty quickly in terms of being a hostage. Jennifer's stuck hostage. Mars is creeping on her pretty bad throughout the thing. And Dennis and Kevin are like, holy shit, what do we do? So basically they're demanding a helicopter. Jeff is like, that's going to take some money. And Dennis is like, I'll give you half of the money we found. It's going to be, they'll give you $2 million each, or $2 million. And really, I think they're just trying to draw them out, to either shoot them or arrest them. But regardless, that is what is going on. Yeah. And so inside the house again, Amanda gets tied up to the bed, or just tied up again. Mars is creeping on her. At first, they're kind of like in a pool area. And he's smoking some weed and blowing it in her face, really close to her face. So again, I thought the characterization of Mars as a bad guy was convincing. But regardless, the helicopter pulls up. Dennis and Kevin, get out there. They throw Jeff the money. I guess even before this, they rescue Walter Smith. So Jeff requests an ambulance driver, Ridley. They strip down to their underwear to show the people, Dennis, Mars, and Kevin, that they're not armed or going to harm them. And so they back in this ambulance, and they load up Walter Smith onto the ambulance. And so as they're doing that, Mars is standing right there with a gun pointed at Jeff's head, and he goes bang. But they let him, just another ominous scene. And so they're able to rescue Walter. Jeff, not being able to tell the rest of the people what's going on with his family, is like urgently telling Ridley to give him an adrenaline shot to wake him up, to try to ask him about where these DVDs are. And so Ridley ends up doing that after denying it at first, and he tells Jeff that the movies are in or the DVDs are in the movie called Heaven Can Wait. Jeff has some communication with Tommy because he's able to. Tommy saw Jeff on TV, and he has his sister's cell phone, and he's in this little cubbyhole crawl space fort area, and so he calls Jeff, and Jeff is like, if you can safely get these DVDs, you can do so. And so Tommy does that. He gets the DVDs. Dennis and Kevin are arguing. Kevin sees Tommy, and Kevin's like, I'm over my head. I don't want to do any of this anymore. So he doesn't say anything. Lets Tommy run back to safety. But they're trying to figure out what to do. So then you get the helicopter scene, and basically Mars has decided Amanda is his girl. You also get some background on Mars that he had seen his father kill his mother, then commit suicide. You get another quick cutscene of Mars seeing some guy get either shot in a grocery store, or him doing it himself, or just watching some other person die. And so you get some background on Mars' characterization. But regardless, Mars has decided Amanda is his girl, and the helicopter can only take 3 people. And in reality, they just want the son and daughter to get freed by leaving them in the house and then having these dudes get arrested or shot in the helicopter. And so Mars is defiant and says no. It's another tense scene of Kevin really wanting to leave, but he's still listening to his brother Dennis. And Dennis is like, fuck it, go back inside, take the money and get back inside. So they do that, they go back inside, and Amanda is now tied up to a bed. They're originally tied in she was tied in a pool area, then she gets tied to a bed. And you get some more kind of maybe sexual assault or rape implications, but again, there's no sexual abuse, but she's tied up kind of spread eagle with her clothes on and whatnot. And just more ominous characterizations from Mars. It kind of puts a knife down in the bed frame, right in between her legs, kind of. And regardless, Kevin's like, I'm done with this. I'm just gonna leave. And Mars is like, okay, if you want to leave, you can leave. And then Mars throws Kevin over the guardrail. And then Dennis, is freaking out because his brother's hemorrhaging and bleeding out. And so Dennis is like, Mars, we have to do something. And Mars is like, I am, and then shoots Dennis. So Kevin and Dennis are both killed, kind of holding each other. Which, when I first watched it, that was definitely a memorable scene. And now Tommy is urgently trying to free Jennifer from the being bounded up, and she's almost completely freed. Mars comes in. Tommy has a gun. He pulls the trigger. It's on safety, and so Mars takes the gun. Jennifer's just now freeing herself with the knife and stabs Mars in the face, in the cheek face area. So Tommy and Jennifer are running away now, trying to get out. And at the same time, Mars has already made a bunch of Molotov cocktails, which is explosives if you're not familiar. But regardless, the FBI, or now this big ominous criminal organization that Walter Smith has been working for, they have fake federal agents. So you have fake FBI agents going in there trying to recover the DVDs. And so Tommy and Jennifer run into this secure room where it's got one-way glass. Mars breaks that, tries to shoot at him, but it's bulletproof, so they're pretty safe in there. But then he has this, and he tries to burn it in the blood that's coming from his face, and he starts dropping these Molotov cocktails. At the same time, the FBI starts going in there, or the fake FBI, this criminal group, and they tell Jeff, don't go anywhere near there. And so now a pretty good action scene. I really liked it. The Mars starts murking all of these other fake FBI agents that he's not even aware of, which I thought was an interesting dynamic as well. So Mars is just he's at a suicide point where he's going to take as many out and go out with them. And so Jeff decides to run in there with a shotgun. Mars kills a couple of them with a Molotov cocktail, shoots one in the head. They're looking through the office. They can't find the DVDs because Tommy has them. And then Jeff goes in there and he gets told to stop by one of his fake FBI agents. Mars comes out from the back with a last two more Molotov cocktails, throws one at the police, the fake police dude, and he blows up. And then Mars throws one in the side of the room on all the money, and he has one more, and he's been shot pretty bad, so he's on his last breath. And he just kind of falls down, and the cocktail breaks, sets fire to him. So he's now dead, or at least imminently dying. And so Jeff shoots big, wealthy house, big like aquarium water fixture, shoots the water to get them safely out of the building. And so now the three main antagonists are now dead. Jeff is able to rescue Amanda and Jane. Walter is awake. And now Jeff still has to rescue his family, Amanda and Jane. And so Jeff and Walter are driving by, and Jeff shows them, is like, look, I rescued your kids, your children are safe. And so they go, and I think because they actually throw the DVD to the guy just before he blows up with the Molotov cocktail, so now this ominous criminal dude's like, you've messed up, I'm gonna kill your family, and Jeff is like, no, I have Walter, he still knows the codes and the bank accounts and the routing numbers and whatever you need to get whatever you need, assuming money or just data or whatever. But regardless, they drive to this kind of like abandoned hotel thing, or saloon type of area. 5-6 bad guys in there. Jane and Amanda are tied up with bags over their heads. Walter's like, they verify that Walter has the information that they need. He does so. Jeff has like a gun taped to Tommy's head in his hand. He cuts him free, or to Walter's head. And then Walter's like screaming at this masked kidnapper, criminal, to shoot him. But you get some premonition before Jeff loads 2 guns, and so Walter pulls out a gun and shoots the bad guy. And so it's implied from there is when they're driving past the Tommy and Jennifer being rescued, that Walter is going to turn against his criminal associates and help Jeff rescue his family, since he just saved Walter's family. And so Jeff falls down, gunfight, they shoot the bad guys. Looks like both Walter and Jeff lives and his family lives, and it looks like Walter lives as well. So that is the resolution to the movie. Again, overall, I thought that the tone, again, for a crime drama was noticeably convincing, especially the first time I saw it in 2005. It's still entertaining to me today. So I thought the tone and characterization was strong. A little bit of the screaming dropped it down a little bit, but overall I thought it higher end of entertaining. So thank you for watching another movie review of my thoughts on Hostage, and I will see you on the next one.